down and hopefully pray that it pays off in the end. That is exactly what Aztec need to do here. They're currently behind in this best of 3 series, and Crimson, look, they bleed. Let's just say that. They are not undefeatable. Crimson can definitely be taken down, and that was Aztec's game several times as it was Crimson's, which is why I'm so excited to see what this second map's going to bring. Skimmy, I think we're getting a little bit of deja vu here. Are we going to go over to Sky Temple yet again? So we've had 4 rounds and a total of 2 maps. GG.
2 maps. I mean, it's almost like ANZ's coming back to, hey, we only play 2 maps. That's why we're a minor region, because we have a minor region map pool too.
Yeah, we like Hanamura down here as well as Blackheart's Bay guys in our regular scrims, in case you didn't know. But no, just kidding. We really love Haunted Mines.
We really don't, but let's roll the clip. Looks like Sky Temple is ready to rock and roll, and we are going to see the action coming out once again. Aztec went for the pick of this map, meaning Crimson do get the first pick. They went for the Malfurion as the first pick last time. Are they going to wait on their patience once again, using up all that timer to decide where they go with this draft?
Chat is going absolutely bananas, Skimmy, about the immortal that was drawn over to the gate there. And I don't blame them. Everybody's saying MVP, get fixed, but in the end, it didn't really matter because there was nothing Aztec could do. Crimson come out with the victory, but it was funny, nonetheless, to always see something like that going on. But let us know in the chat, is it going to be Crimson? Is it going to be Aztec? Skimmy, who are you? I'm going to throw for all of my chips down on Crimson.
I mean, I have to. I think if I was to say any other way, bias aside, I mean, actually, bias inside, if I was to say any other way, KVO probably want to kick me out of the flat. But biased aside, I still think they are the stronger team. They've proven it to me in what we've seen during the pre-trainer to the pre-season. And just from watching some of the scrims, these teams that weren't mentioned in the 2018 qualifiers, watching their performances, watching their style of play, it becomes apparent to me that they are a step above. Yes, it was a close game, but I still think it should be a 2-0.
Greymane now being taken off the board, so Crimson not wanting to deal with that. Interesting to see that they let Garrosh come through, considering how many problems it caused them there. That Wrecking Ball was displacing Tychus a fair few times, but I also think that he caught the wrong target a fair few times as well. KVA often found himself on the receiving end of one of those Wrecking Ball groundbreaker combos, and then in the end, all he was able to do was just slide back out. But interesting to note, his Skinny Maev is still being left on the board.
It is interesting. For the very first time, we have different bans, Kit Fox. Look at that. ANZ does have a small map pool, but we can slightly adapt in terms of what we do decide to ban. Question is, Shimada Brothers. So obviously it has been the go-to for such a long time. Do the Shimada Brothers pick up in priority as a result, or do we see a Maeve pick in the very first rotation? I feel as if we go for a Maeve in the first, while she's not the most obvious and easy to counter, she does have counters, but I don't feel like Crimson are the kind of team that are just going to bust it out first and say, look, this is our all-in comp, because I feel like you definitely have to build a comp around her to shine.
So will it be first pick Malfurion with that Maev still on the board? Yep, there we go. 4 out of 4. Skimmy, get yourself a scratchy because we are on point here with our calls. Malf number 1, but Maev, like, interesting. And you mentioned the Shimada brothers. They fell through completely on Battlefield of Eternity, which was surprising considering we saw Ben, Fat94 from Nomiya pick up Hanzo and just deal chunks of damage with that redemption build and the serrated arrows to take down the Immortal as well. I mean, they find so much value. Genji can literally dash off screen, kill you, and dash off again before you even blink. It's bananas. But Tyrael is going to be the one stop. And there it is. Boom. Dragon Brother number 1, Hanzo, locked in on the side of Aztec.
About time we saw coming in a much higher rotation as well. Tyrael and the Hanzo going to give them some fantastic poke, but some fantastic point control as well. As we see the Malfurion be obviously that static standard pickup. Where did they decide to go from here? As you mentioned, Genji is a very great pick for the side of Crimson. I've seen Azure play it, I've seen Altivian play it. They can flex it between the two of those in the damage department. But it does come down to whether they feel comfortable to pick it up this early on, because knowing what we can see from Aztec so far, if they are going to go for a very sort of point control heavy, like you got the Holy Ground for the boss, you got the Sank for the boss, they are going to go for that. The Genji really doesn't do too much.
That's very true, especially if Tyrael goes for that Sank. Just chuck it down, bit of Holy Ground. There's not really much that old Ganji can do. I mean, yeah, he can dash through and get away and be a little bit of a thorn in your side, the fly in the ointment, so to speak. But, I mean, you can negate him. Tychus again, as well as ETC. So, very stock standard. Shout out to the man in the chat for Crimson at the moment, going the Malf Tychus ETC combo again. Skimmy, very vanilla here, dare I say it.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to be almost like the turn of the hand, right? Where teams are saying, we are not going to reveal too much. We're just going to pick stock standard, strong picks in each separate category, right? Strong support, strong DPS, strong tank. Nothing that you can really read into that. Quite hard to try and ban away, because you're going to have to ban away with, I suppose, a little bit of understanding. But for the majority part of it, it's kind of blind. You don't really know where they're going with this one. Tychus is... Well, I suppose you could say Tychus is the new Vala. Ever since the double support comp has really just disappeared, Tychus has definitely made himself a known presence in the Heroes of the Storm competitive pool.
He has, because I reckon it's because of that level 10. You can either go for the Draken Laser Drill, which is, regardless of what map you're on, provides fantastic point control. So Towers of Doom, Cursed Hollow, you'd go Draken. I mean, either option, Odin is always viable. But I personally love that zoning game, what Draken offers. But Odin, you just cannot turn up your nose to that damage potential. But Tracer is now going to be banned from Aztech. What do you make of that one?
I mean, it's kind of like what we saw before, right? The Tracer is fantastic when paired with the Malfurion. It offers them some dive that then follow up the ETC, allows them to weaken somebody down or finish somebody off that, say, Tychus has done a lot of work towards. That is one angle to tackle away from. The other could be that, Aztec don't want to draft any more dive protection, such as the Ufa, like we saw Outlaws do, which is a very one-dimensional style of play. Because if they see that, instantly you can imagine that Crimson go, cool, we pick up a global, we never fight you, you can't actually ever win.
Skimmy, are you thinking what I'm thinking? The Maev. Is it going to be the last pick? Is it going to be the wild card? You know, the draw 4, the one that ruins all the friendships. Will that be the one that comes out here and surprises everybody? It's been a bit of a gamble, considering we've seen Maev banned every single time so far. And to let her go through this low, I can just see the hovers coming from here. I can feel it in my bones.
Definitely not out of the question right now. I'm just trying to wonder which team it would favour more at this stage. I mean, the argument you can make so far for Crimson is they would have the root, they would have the mosh pit, and that guarantees that, when those members are locked in place, they are going to get locked in place for a very long time. There are no diminishing returns. You can CC chain for days, and somebody will eventually fall to the floor, sanctification or not. I suppose the question really is in the side of Aztec. How have they read this draft so far, and how do they try to deal with this very vanilla style that Crim brought to the table?
It's really going to show their hand these next 2 picks. I mean, it does, because they do need that support. They could use some more damage. Another solid frontliner. Tyrael, not really strong. There it is. It's going to be Arthas, who we saw, you could argue he's kind of grasping on the meta strings at the moment. He's sort of fallen out a little bit, but he's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, no, Arthas is definitely really, really strong in the right hands. Early game, as I mentioned, is always his strongest suit. He's looking for those early game picks. Gonna especially see him trying to bounce between, you'd imagine if Tyrael was the top laner, between mid and bot to try and find kills with this Hansel. I love the Stukov pick. We saw exactly how much work single-handedly Sale was able to do to try and give KVA a hard time. So I respect the pick, and it will find a lot of value bouncing between all 3 members that they have in the damage and tanking department. But now, 2 final picks, Kit Fox. We have speculated as to whether it is the Maeve. And with what would be 2 tanks in your face with mobility, it is a potential, but I don't want to jump the gun and say it is the case.
I mean, you've got the Tychus, which is your range DPS. Are you going to go for the Mage? There it is, Dragon Shimada brother number 2, Genji getting in on the board. So, nice. The good old brother versus brother. Why you got to do me like this? Hold the phone. We've got ourselves a Zeratul coming out here from the side of Aztec Gaming. Probably looking to stick to Genji with those blinks, with with that ridiculous amount of mobility that he has. I don't think it looked like Aztec were hovering that, just waiting to lock it in as the last pick, but that's a reaction to Genji, and it's a good one too.
So now you've got a couple of different ideas to throw out. With the Zeratul, you can potentially put him in the top laner and just make him a soak bot, right? He doesn't actually have to win the lane. He can just soak the XP. They can then use Tyrael to then go around and constantly be aggressive, force fights, be hungry for skirmishes, right? The other question bit, you can then chuck in one of those beefy bruisers into the top lane and just constantly use Zeratul as that mobile wall to scout at these rotations, constantly be aware as to where Crimson are. And for the most part, what we saw last game was really a really strong early game from Aztech, right? So this is what the Zeratul can provide. And later in the stages of this game, he can one-shot members, right? So he can definitely pack a punch.
Last game was on a knife edge. Last game was on a knife edge, Skimmy. Let's hope this one is as well. It's game number 2 of this best of 3 series. We have got Crimson on blue going up against Aztech on red. My name is Kit Fox, joined by Skimmy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We've got KVA on ETC, Jesmez on Leoric, Azure is playing Genji, Shadow on Malfurion, and Altivian on Tychus. That is Crimson, and over at Aztech, Skimmy.
The right-hand side fighting for the survival in this best of 3 to open up their 2018 Premier Lane on Lakadog on his famous Zeratul Sailor, once again flexing with the prowess that he displayed last game on Stukov. Domi on Arthas, and in doubt will be playing the Scatter Arrow build Hanzo.
Oh, Scatter Arrow. Let's see how it goes. I mean, you really do make the call. That's why Hanzo is so strong at the moment. You can literally pick any single one of his level 1 talents, and they are all extremely viable. They deal massive, massive chunks of damage, whether it be PvP or PvE, depending on the situation. And that is why he's often banned or picked. You can see Sailor again on that Stukov, utilizing the Lurking Arm Crimson. That's something that they're definitely going to be thinking about. Definitely gave them nightmares on the first map.
You can see that is the call, that they are going to sacrifice luck and make sure that they can actually scale into the later game. He's not going to win the matchup against Jesmez, but he will be there to soak the XP. Now let's see what Azov can achieve. He will have that shield to provide some sustainability to complement the healing pathogen. It's a case of where they can find the kills with this commitment to this early game.
So chat popping off at No Maev, but regardless, you've got the two Shibata brothers, and they, with their superior mobility, are looking to make their mark on the Sky Temple. Remember, Crimson picked up the first map on Battlefield of Eternity. If you did just join us in the best of 3 series, it's all up to Aztec just to stem that hemorrhage. Oh, Sailor throws out the weighted pustule. Just to say to Altivian and Sailor, I know you're lurking around, get away from my camp. Doubt now comes in, doesn't have serrated arrows just as yet, but will comfortably take the siege camps, get that ball roll, and the EXP slightly in favour of Crimson so far, Skinny. Not really too much going on to dictate this match so far.
It's already the adaptation of sending Domi up to the top lane, which suggests to me that if anything, we can't find the picks. Crimson far too strong on a map like this that will allow us to find those Howling Blasts. Let's bring down Lakadog and see if we can actually get some burst potential with the Slime. It does obviously hamper their CC in terms of locking members down, but it'll give them that poke potential. I suppose just trying to whittle down Shadow and his mana ball.
So Altivian there with that overkill on Tychus. Probably my personal favourite skin as well, the old Infested Terran before Stukov came along. It was the only representation the class had, but it's good to see Altivian now being a presence on the front line. Takes a few cheeky shots there from Doubt, who on that Hanzo is just abusing the fact that he has a ridiculous amount of poke and rage potential, be it with that Stormbow scatters or even the basic attack. Like we said, he's got the whole package.
Does indeed. Obviously still action in the bottom lane, looking to try and I suppose get some pressure going into the second temple phase, much like we saw earlier tonight. There's the root looking for the first blood. Azor gets knocked back by the grenade, and Tyrael, the first of full first blood for Crimson.
Yeah, MVP Siege Jones, well done. So good old Crimson, they take that advantage and they'll sit pretty with it as well. I mean, they've got the one map, they've got very soon to be the one level. KVA gets revealed there by Doubt, who's played a pretty good Hanzo so far. It's still early days, but he's poking, he's evading, he's been a general pest. Domi and Jesmez duking it out up in the top lane, the good old Arthas versus Leoric. And that's why we like Leoric. He is an anti-tank tank, and to pick him into somebody like Arthas is fantastic. I mean, you've got Tyrael as well, who survives on his shields and his HP, so with his recent rework, he's definitely found his way back into the meta a little bit more as well.
Definitely Leoric is one of those tank busters, which is going to favour them in a situation like this where there are two very beefy targets for them. Up against the likes of Arthas, which has actually adapted at level 4 for the Icy talents to reduce attack speed. A very niche pick. Generally speaking, when you're going up a very heavy attack composition, will actually do a ton of work at slowing down what Altivian can do in his Tychus.
I mean, you usually see the Frozen Tempest quest, but look out! Oh, there was an almost frag. In fact, it was a frag as Zeratul blinks out, but unfortunately didn't get far enough. Goes down, and Azog and the rest are forced to run back and lick their wounds as Crimson continue to aggress here as Tommy gets rooted and they're having a bad time. Not like this. 2 quick frags going over to the side of Crimson, aiming an Aztec very firmly on the back foot here.
The combo is dirty right there. You've got the power slide into the room, one step ahead of what Stella can do with the lurking arm to prevent any kind of retaliation. And KVA getting the kill onto Luckadog, you know, it's a bit of a vengeance go, really. These are former teammates back on XL5. They have got pride on the line, not to mention the victory for the team as a whole.
The tempo phase is well underway now as Crimson just plant themselves. They've got the tents up, the kettle is on the boil, and they're comfortably sitting there at the moment. Sailor and Azog with bravery as Hanzo in the bottom lane. Oh, the brother-on-brother actually gets taken down, but there's still an engage going on up in the top lane. Azog is very, very low and gets taken down by Crimson, and Obsidian 2 gets blown up by the Ethereal passive. Oh, the fantastic Howling Blast collects 2. Will they be able to get the kill? No, they don't. Domi overextends, and Aztech Gaming are falling on their own sword. Way too aggressive.
Yeah, they committed so much to that when they had no ranged damage to deal with it. They were literally relying on Luckadog to try and snipe away that kill. If Hanzo was there, different story. Very, very different story, but they do pay the price. Domi trying to secure that kill, thinking they had the lead with Tyrell exploding and taking out Tychus, but the Howling Blast doesn't net them the kill. They find themselves overextended, and now they get really punished here, folks. Level 10 is now here for Crimson, and I don't think we're going to see a boss out of them, but we can definitely see a lot of map control as a result.
You know what the saving grace was there, Skimmy? That was the Moonfire with that new Malfurion coming in clutch to get the clutch heal and save the teammates from certain death there at the end. Again, you can see Azure just taking it down to his brother Hanzo in the bot lane, out forced well back into his base, but remember, Azure can get in, throw a couple shurikens and deflect for good measure, and then dash straight back out and pick up an easy kill on out there. It's low enough, but Azure, I don't think he'll be looking to... Let's be honest, it's a risky play. I don't think he'll be looking to give up that sort of advantage. Should it go south for him on that attack, he's just going to go for the safer route, going to go for the Siege Giants instead. As Crimson at the top lane, they've got those bruisers pushing. Aztech now really are playing the reactive game, and they have to because they still haven't hit that level 10 advantage.
I'm just trying to see what Crimson are going to do with this level 10 advantage they have. Generally speaking, you're going to try and force something big on the map, a boss, a camp, a structural advantage in some capacity, or even just a fight. Right now, they're not really interested in any of those. They're just putting their eggs into the bottom lane basket, saying, this is enough for us. Let's just get some giants, let's siege on down, and when the shrine does activate, this temple will do a lot of damage.
Very, very close to that second phase as well. Skinny, level 11 now for Crimson as 10 finally gets picked up by Aztech. This is a turning point in the game here. They'll be looking to force, well, not force an engagement, they'll be more than happy to take one here as Azog, well, he does exactly that, goes deep, gets rooted for his troubles. KVA doesn't really have to blow too many cooldowns, as Azog just needs to be careful, because if you go too deep, you get taken down. We saw what happened in the mid lane, Skimmy. They went very, very deep for those kills, got too greedy, gave up 2 frags, and then that just led Crimson to extend their lead. 4 seconds ticking down now before that shrine comes up, and just like Nomiya versus Outlaws, Crimson with this advantage, they can just sit back and play the PvE game.
But Lucky, you'll see there, does a good job of actually jumping in, blinking on out, baiting out cooldowns like roots, like power slides. If they can capitalize on that, they are definitely going to start winning these trades, because Domi wasn't even there. That was a 4v5, and they were feigning that they wanted to fight. And if Crimson had caught Lucky, it would have been a very scary situation for them. But you know, Domi is on a rotation now. Level 13 is very close to Crimson. If it's do or die, it's do or die now.
Yeah, will they roll this dice? I mean, like you said, it needs to go now, because once that level 13 power spike has been achieved, Crimson, they're just going to look dangerous. Sailor shoves Jesmez the whole way back, and Aztec, they're split up here at the moment. Look how deep Lucker is. He actually misses the Singularity Spike and just manages to get away. There's no dive. Well, at least not enough to be able to chase down that Zeratul with his 10 billion blinks. In goes KVA. Is this going to be the mosh pit? It's not required. Twilight Beam comes across and silences everybody within the vicinity. That is a cheeky frag. Hanzo gets taken down. Domi is now in the crosshairs. He blows that Tempest and is able to get away with the help of Azog and that smite just raking across him there. Regardless, the temple phase now is going to go over to Crimson. They hit level 13. And at this stage, Skimmy, it may only be a matter of time as Jesmez just gets away, but Lucker comes in trying to hunt him down, secures the kill. big cheeky frag there, but pays for it with life. Dragon's Arrow!
This is a skirmish that's gone on far too long in the bot lane. They'd obviously allowed Luck to come back. It looked like they just reset. The shove was fantastic at the start to try and give Aztech the initiative in that fight. But no, KJ, as he does with this cow, finds that moment. He gets the power slide. As you said, no mosh required. The dirty early game combo. Root is there. 2 members are called. The kill is achieved. Army of the Dead obviously had to be popped to try and allow Domi to survive. But the level 13 obviously was acquired during all of that, providing them with an extra element to their fight.
Jax needs to be around for these fights, Skibby. We saw him taken out early in that one. Lost a lot of damage on the side of Aztech. In the first fight earlier on that went Crimson's way as well, he wasn't there. He was late to the party because Genji was just giving him a hell of a time down in the bottom lane. In fact, getting the cheeky frag while the temple phase was underway. So I think this could be a very different game if Aztech just gets himself in there, has a little bit more of an impact in and around these team fights. And it'll be coming into play here, especially around points like this. The boss, should Crimson decide to go for a cheeky play, that is where Aztech need to get their rotates on, protect their squishies on the back line, like the Zeratul, like the Hanzo, keep Stukov up as well, and the fights will start going their way.
That they will. They hit 13. Now it's time to try and set up and look for those engages that you've just been discussing. Night Camp is going to be the focal point for them so far, as they wait for these tenders to spawn. Speak of them, and they shall pop up. 25 seconds on those. They are going to be split. There are no globals on either side, so it's all going to come down to how they want to position this. 2 apiece. 1 in the mid lane and 1 in the bottom lane. First point of order for them to defeat these giants, because otherwise Sailor, as a support, is forced to clear them, which that claw won't have the hardest of times, but it's not ideal.
Been caught out in the top lane, and Crimson again continue to flex their muscles. Poor old Zeratul, even with all those blinks, just couldn't get away, and now Aztech already on the back foot. Just as the temple phase gets underway, there's going to be 1 in the mid, 1 down the bottom. Aztech may be able to take bottom here, but they're going to have to defend sooner or later, because Crimson, like we said, they've got that advantage. They've got minions, Knights, in fact, pushing over in the top lane. Azog almost gets caught out as Crimson just unsure of who to go for here. Azog way out of position. Azure is going to stick to him like you would not believe, just strapped firmly onto his backside. Now Jesmez in the bot lane is dealing with Sailor and Doubt, as the Temples, again, going over to Crimson, Skinny, because this level advantage is just blowing out here. There is nothing Aztech can do about it.
I mean, Aztec actually did try and do something about it. They went for the boss core. The boss was dropped down to about 1/3 of its life total. But then Jesmez spots things out there, and look at this. There's going to be the power slide. It's going to look to try and be a clean ace on this one. It's Azure jumps on in with the Dragon's Blade, but the sanctification standardizes this one. They're going to go for the reset, looking for it. KVA is thinking, can I find the kill? But no. The 16 advantage they had might not be enough, or is it? They're looking for Dominac Hitbox.
He gets caught out by the massive CC chain combo there of Power Slide and Roots, and he just really took a fair bit of damage, didn't he? He went down from 100 to 50, and for an Arthas, that is a lot of HP. On anyone else, it may even have been enough to secure them the kill. Regardless, they're going to have to reset, rethink, and hopefully hit level 16 to at least be competitive in the next fight, Skinny, because as these levels go up, of course, the timers get longer, and all it takes is 1 or 2 frags to put you massively behind the 8 ball, then you get potted, and it's GG.
Indeed. 2-level lead, and 10 kills to 2 is the story of this game. Crimson definitely a different warmed up team compared to game number 1, as we now witness them putting shots onto the bottom keep. Top lane, there is a bit of a skirmish as Azure is going for Lucka. Both are dropped low. Lucka is down to 210, but he does have the bolt away. Azure is not going to commit. He does not know where these members are. That vision denied.
Unfortunately for Azure, he just used all of those cooldowns and had nothing left to face roll as he picked the keys off his keyboard as Genji. But hey, he's playing a fantastic game, and so is Lucka as well on the Zeratul, because let's be honest, he's been a little bit of a nuisance along the back lines. But like we said, his job was to stay strapped firmly to that Genji. But with this EXP lead, he wants to be as far away from everybody from Crimson as possible. Once we hit 20, I think if the game lasts that long, we may actually see Aztec be able to play the way that they want to play.
Posturing around the boss right now, Sister Crimson saying, we want you to fight us. We're comfortable. We have a 2-level lead. Yes, we're both on even talents here. There's nothing to do on the map right now. Every camp's being taken. Lanes are being pushed. There's no temples to fight over. The only point of contention is that boss, so come at us. And this is where a situation where you're trying to split a member apart. This is when Aztech, they spread left, they spread right. And if Ultivian had landed that grenade, potentially they would have found that all-important thing.
He goes in, throwing out the Howling Blast, collects it onto Ultivian. He's still 3 away from completing his quest as well, and we're 14 down. The shove is a complete whiff. So already Aztec with that ult down. A little bit disappointed to take this engage, and there it is, big engage.
The Twilight Dream completely interrupted by the Defender's Application was out there as well. Dragon's Arrow comes from downtown, but it doesn't stun members long enough. Moshpit onto 2! Just like that! Oh, so low! They get taken down, just sitting there, poking out, chucking out arrows, getting kills like that, and Azure jumps in the backline. Protected, by the way, he doesn't seem to care. 1 and 2, goodbye for you. And Genji goes down. The Keep is the MVP. Nexus Forces are the 6th member for Aztec.
Yeah, this could very well be the win condition. Are they going to shove it in? Do they have the damage? I don't think they do, since Malf and Genji have been taken out. They're not the biggest damage dealers, but every little bit counts. But all Crimson are going to do, they're going to play it safe, they're going to sit back, they're on level 19, they're about to suck down on level 20. And I'll tell you what, once they hit that power spike, they'll be looking to finish the game. Once the towers are down, they'll be shoving in those camps like, you know, Christmas pudding. Just can't get enough of it, Skimmy. And Aztec Entertainment, they'll be struggling. They need to force a fight here, they need to win it now. But it's hard. Look, let's not sugarcoat it. It's going to be hard.
Definitely is going to be hard because Keep has got in the bottom lane. Keep's now got in the middle lane as well. They don't actually really have to commit for these shots. They've got 20. That alone is enough of an advantage. If anything, Aztec have to be really careful about how they position themselves. You can see they are all inning for this middle shrine. They need to get that now. Lucka spots at the top side trying to go for the Jesmez pick. It's not going to happen. Crimson can play the slow game, just allow mid and bot to push in and just never actually go for the boss so they don't need to.
Well, one fight here will be do or die, and Aztec don't want to be giving up an inch. Doubt needs to be staying alive. He's found himself on the receiving end of a lot of damage at the start of a lot of fights. So we saw glimpses of what Aztec were able to offer as this temple goes, well, it was actually started to engage by Aztec, but in goes Leoric with the march as opposed to Entomb. He gets 1 value out of the 3. In goes KVA. Does not have the mosh available. There's 3 seconds on it. The arrow from Hanzo finds the back line. It's Tommy gonna go down. He's gonna be the first casualty for Aztec. A fantastic sanctification comes across in clutch to save the day. KVA mosh pit.
It is onto Dommy. He gets taken down as the nuke gets dropped onto Zeratul. Luckily, Dommy gets taken out of this fight. A second pick just like that. Aztec just 2 split apart, and a level 20 advantage being too strong for them to deal with. The Keep, it's XP, but this is a scrim. They don't care about that. They go for the core. They're looking for Down. Genji gets taken out. That says no. You will not pick me up for 3. And this puts a bit of a spanner in the works. Do they still go for core? Gets them at 20, but they don't have a minion wave right now.
Well, Sailor just sitting out there on the back line, just letting it grow and grow and grow. There are Knights pushing the top and the mid as well, so keep your eyes on that one. They've actually reached through to the core now, so there's 3 lanes now, completely open. Skimmy, this could be it. Aztec, they've got nobody's on the board, and Crimson Gaming are going to take the series 2-0. GG's, well played, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, indeed. I tell you what, a much different story for Crimson. We thought, you know, this was a team on the same echelon as Nomiya, and I still do think that same narrative. But I tell you what, that early game on game number 1 really got me worried for a second there. And compliments to Aztec. Obviously, they've had these 2 brand new members come into their side. You've got Dommy as well as Lucka Dog, and they put in a stellar performance. And I expect to see this team just grow exponentially from week to week if they keep up a performance like that. Game number 2 proved to be too much for them to handle. The scoreline going 18-5 in the end, with KVA not dying a single time.
It's your boy Skimmy, your boy KVA, filled with the power of all the memes you flooded him with over the qualifying season. But ladies and gents, that was week number 1. Only week number 1 of the ANZ HGC Premier Division. We had 2 games on stream tonight. The first one, if you were unfortunate enough to miss it, was Nomiya going up against Outlaws, the former champions, dethroned last season, coming back with cannons blazing, not just guns. They were a class above Outlaws in the end there, taking the series 2-0 in convincing fashion. Skimmy, any words for Outlaws as they go away from that one? Definitely saw.
I mean, for Outlaws and for everybody that's played tonight, it's been awesome to actually see the top 3 actually get into action tonight. We've obviously had a lot of eyes onto, you know, how strong are they? What have they been preparing for? Obviously, all eyes have been on them for that 4 weeks of prep they had when they got to watch all these qualifying teams. So you could argue that Crimson, if they haven't been scrimming GG Go Next, now Aztech, they would have actually had a distinct advantage over them from the ability just to watch all those games, study the replays, and break down the analysis. But, you know, as we saw, they put up a fantastic effort in the first game. I still believe they're going to grow. I still believe they're going to really nestle themselves into that top 4 for contention.
Mm-hmm. And we just saw on stream there, Crimson Gaming. The first game was a little bit shaky, let's be honest, but the second game, surgical precision. They were able to get that snowball rolling and just run a train over the opposition Aztech in the end there. So, Skimmy, you were a former coach yourself. Any words for Aztech, formerly known as GG Go Next? We talked about their Cinderella story and what they went through to get here. I mean, that was only week number 1, so they've still got a lot to play for.
I mean, for me, it always has to be mentality, right? You know, when I played on a team, I had KVA on my side, I had Locker Dog on my side, right? And we cultivated I'd like to say, a community of friendship, but in a professional environment, right? Don't be afraid to speak up. If something is annoying you, say it. If you feel like you need more responsibility out of your members, say it. A lot of these teams, when they do start off, they become very passive aggressive, and I think ego can get in the way of that at times. So if you can get over that hurdle initially of like, I want to do this and you need to do this, and then we can work as a cohesive unit rather than just looking like a quick match or your everyday Hero League game. And that alone is a significant advantage that you have over other teams. And then it just grows from there, right? You start working on drafts, you bring in analysts, and you can really bring the sweat that we know and love here in ANZ.
It's all about it. Sweaty plays, sweaty memes, and sweaty esports. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the first week of the inaugural ANZ HGC Premier Division. We've got a lot of people to thank: Blizzard, ANZ, GameStar, the crew behind the scenes, Crisis, the producer, Avexium, the admin. If you were lucky enough to catch the lobby, the pre-game show, you would have caught Blank, GL Phoenix, and everybody else involved. Disc and Kerr will be on later in the week too, so we've got a lot coming your way. Tomorrow night on Wednesday is the Open Division, so stick around for that one. Winters and Co will be bringing that one to you. And then Thursday, we have got a lot more HOTS Premier Division action coming your way. We have got 2 more games coming up on stream, which will be the Rich Gang E-Thugs going up against Downfall Gaming, as well as Neko Mimi going up against the QM Warriors. So that is at 7:30 AEDT on Tuesday. So get around for that one. My name is Kit Fox, and on behalf of my co-caster Skimmy, everybody here at GameStar, sponsors Blizzard ANZ, and of course, thank you so much to you, the viewers, for making this extra special. 2,500. We couldn't have asked for anything more, and we are seriously humbled. So once again, thank you so much. Hope you have had a fantastic night. Congratulations to our victors, and we'll see you tomorrow for Open Division and on Thursday for more Premier.